So in this video, I want to talk everything about tools and then everything to tool adjustment, to setting them up square, everything you need to know pretty much. The first thing I want to talk about is what is a tool or a carbide tool insert holder. So this is a carbide tool insert holder. There are multiple styles out there. The two that you're mainly going to be working with are this one and then this one. Okay? This one's going to be for getting into tight spaces, while this one is for more general cuts. It's kind of the workhorse of carbide bits. What we're going to talk about first is we've got some tool holders. Let me grab another tool holder for you. Right here. This is just an empty tool holder. And then we have our carbide bit holder right here. All we're going to do is, the first thing, we're going to take our fingers, clean, wipe everything off. Make sure it's all nice and clean in here. We don't want any chips or anything like that getting in our way when we install our tool. Next, we're going to take our tool and we're just going to lay it in here. We want to make sure we have the least amount hanging out as possible. I would probably say this is a pretty good setup right here. The further out you have it, the more chatter, the more problems you're going to have getting a consistent cut, the more, just wandering and, like deflection, I would call it. So I always push it in here. A good rule of thumb is I always try to make sure that there's 3 of these Allen set screws that you can see here on the top. 1, 2, 3. We're just going to take those and tighten them down. So my little trick, we're going to go ahead and get a close-up on the the quick tool change holder here. So this is a quick change holder, right? I throw my tool holder in here and I go ahead and lock it down. I place my tool in here to where I want it to be. Take one hand, make sure that it's pushed all the way to the back of the tool holder, and I go ahead and start lightly tightening these down. Get them all 3 lightly tightened. And now, because it's nice and in a sturdy position, I can go through and do my final tightening. And now that tool is ready to go. The next thing I want to go over is how to adjust the tool holder to be square. We're going to need a 1, 2, 3 block for this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to pull any tool or any part we have in the chuck out, which somebody put in there really tight. And we're going to take our 1, 2, 3 block. You want to come over here and see what we're doing. And we're going to go and get really close to the chuck. We're going to take our one wrench, the only wrench you'll probably find in the toolbox over here, and we're going to loosen up this top bolt. As soon as this top bolt's loose, this whole quick changer is easily spun. We want to make sure that this thing is staying in the center of the cross slide. Never want it to be all the way over to one side, or else we'll have problems with rigidity again. We're going to take our 1, 2, 3 block. We're just going to hold it to the front side of our tool. And we're going to spin it to where both sides are touching perfectly flat. Can you see that? While we've got it in position, I like to take it and slowly start tightening it down. And that's how we set our tools perfectly square. Now, to do our next part about setting our tool height, we actually do need to have that part back into position. So I'm going to throw this thing back in position, or the part back in the chuck. If you want to move over there. The only tool you're going to need for doing this part of the job is a little ruler, and we happen to have a few of them hanging around the toolbox here, and I like to use the square. So do you want to maybe drop the camera down so everybody can see this? We're going to take that ruler and we're going to press the tool into it just like so. And you're going to notice that it'll either go one way or the other. If it's up too high, you'll notice that it'll kind of push forward, and if it's up or it's down too low, it'll kind of push towards you. One little trick I like to use is I just take this square and I put it right next to it, and it helps me determine if it's perfectly straight up and down. Now I can obviously see that this one is maybe a little bit forward, so that means it's up too high. So I'm going to back it out, loosen my tool changer here, loosen it up maybe a half turn. Nothing crazy here. We're going to tighten it back up, and now I'm going to take a look at it. I can see that it's got perfect height. And that's it.